Seeing eyes of mine, what do you feel beside? I don't know where we're gonna fly like you did sometimes. Seeing eyes of mine.
What up, everybody? This is your boy, John Patrick, and I am extremely excited to be on tonight because we have a great show planned for you guys. And yeah, it's going to be good, man. I am really excited about this. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go out, click on that subscribe button right there in front of you, and then also click on the notification bell so that you can get notified when a new podcast is live. So make sure you click on that. And then before we get started, also go out and follow Alex on Facebook. He is on Facebook, he's on IG, and he is on TikTok. So make sure you go out and follow him out there. And then tonight we are talking dope dudes capture beauty. I mean, this guy is a phenomenal photographer. I've checked out his works. I've actually booked an appointment with him, so hopefully he can do me some justice with my look. But I'm really excited about having him on the show because this guy is phenomenal. And then just a coincidence of how everything is connected. When I posted that he was going to be on the podcast, one of my friends, she reached out to me and she was like, hey, I'm so excited about Alex being on the show. I know his sister and he has done some work with my niece. So, and she confirmed everything that I kind of like picked up from this guy, that he is a phenomenal guy and a cool guy. So I am really excited about introducing him to you all. And we're going to go ahead and get him on out here. Alex, what's up, man?
What's good, man? Oh, so like, dude, this man, I didn't know that happened, dude. Like,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah,
like,
one of my
yeah.
good friends, she called me up Saturday. She was like, I know Alex, he's a great guy. And she was like, I know his sister. And she was like, you are definitely going to enjoy him. And she was talking about how excited she was that you were going to be on the show. And so, hey, dude, that's a good thing, man.
That is a good thing, man. Like when your reputation precedes you, you know,
Yes, sir.
and people have nothing but good things to say about you. Yeah, that's a good thing. Oh, that's a blessing, man. I appreciate you sharing that little story right there. It made me feel good, you know.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, man. And the person who told me this here, I'm a counselor, so we're like loyal people. And she so happens to be a counselor too. So she reached out, and like I said, I trust her judgment. And yeah, she had nothing but amazing things to say about you, man. So that is just like phenomenal.
That's what's up, man. You know, cancers are very loyal. Like I dated cancer, so it's like I see it. Her whole I've never like dated somebody like from the zodiac, and then like their whole family is primarily that zodiac.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, man, her mom's a cancer, aunt, and like it just goes on and on. So I see the love, I see the loyalty. You know, it's real. I love it, man. That's
We ride or die, brother. We are ride or die, but don't make us mad. Don't make us mad, man.
Man, look, and I'm a Scorpio, right? So
wow.
The people think that like Scorpios are the mean ones. Nah. Nah, don't try a cancer. Don't step to a cancer.
Wow. So Alex, tell us about you, man. Tell us like how did you get started on this journey, man? And do you like photoed a lot of like celebrities and great people? So how did all of that happen?
Man, to be honest with you, I always had an affinity for images that kind of capture your eye.
Yeah.
I started my entire creative journey before I could even really write, like hold the pen to write my name. This is inherited from my father. Um, he was an artist, and well, still is an artist. Well, I don't want to say was, but he still is an artist.
Yeah.
And I just picked up the gene, started drawing, and from drawing and painting, transitioned over into Photoshop. Spent a lot of time doing graphic design and working around photos, and that's really when I started to develop my eye for what it is that I like to see when it comes to imagery. Period. Just as a graphic designer, being able to go in and you spend a lot of time looking for stock photography, and it's for many different things. It could be for a club event, for this flyer over here, or you need some high quality images of some scissors, for a business card over here. It's just very random. So you have to have a idea of what it is that you want to see and how you want things to be executed, just in the long run. So I wasn't finding what I wanted. I decided to get a camera, and maybe, I could take some photos that would satisfy my preferences, my taste, and then also I can deliver that to my clients. The camera was literally supposed to be an accessory to the graphic design, and it turned out to be completely different. Everything just took off, man. Everything took off. I ended up putting graphic design to the side and focusing only on photography. And I've been at it for 13 years, man. Like, yeah, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long while. It's been a journey for me for sure. And I can't really say that I regret anything. It's definitely been one of those blessings that you don't see coming. You don't really pray for it, but you pray for something. And that something just so happened to be photography. So I accepted it. And it's been like my life, basically.
Wow, wow. So you said you started out in graphic design and then you just kind of like transitioned over into it. So, I mean,
Mhm.
because both of those require like photography and graphic design require such a level of creativity. You
Mm.
have to like just be a colorful minded person. So how did you like keep that creativity in the world? Because, as men, a lot of times creativity is shut down. We're not supposed to
Ooh.
be creative beings. We're supposed to go to corporate America or be mechanics or do something that can be perceived as masculine. And not saying creativity is not, but a lot of people do not encourage their young boys to be creative. And I heard one time a guy said that most times our creativity is shut down like around the age 5, somewhere in there, because we are so in the beginning, we're innocent. So we
Yeah.
can just create any and everything. And then at some point in life, someone says that's not going to work or you shouldn't do that. And then that changed the whole scope of our trajectory of life. So, how did
Right.
you stay creative in this world, man?
Man, the statement that you mentioned where the gentleman stated that a lot of boys have their creativity stripped from them around 5. Um, I sadly have to agree with that. There was just a lot of things around the age of 5 that happened throughout my life that would normally strip your regular person. I don't want to make it seem like I'm just like, almighty or anything like that. Like, um, it took a lot of faith and belief in me. Like, once again, I'm a Scorpio, so one thing about a Scorpio, and people who have dealt with us will probably tell you this, and then Scorpios themselves will probably tell you this. Like, look, once we've made up our mind, We've made it up. Now you can possibly change it, but it's gonna take a lot of convincing, right? Like
Yeah.
you can change your mind. Change my mind. I don't mind, but I need you to convince me. Like so that's the hard part. And I had a lot of things that was supposed to have changed my mind, but it never convinced me. If that makes any sense.
Yes, sir.
I was due to be a star player on the basketball team when I was in junior high and in high school, and I loved it. You know, the sport of basketball taught me a lot about life today and just being a driven individual, also working in teams, but holding your own as an individual, knowing that you have responsibilities that you have to follow through with, things like that. Um, so I love the game, but I ended up actually quitting my freshman year to focus on my art. When I made that decision, I was being raised by my grandmother at the time. And, you know, I told her what my decision was. And she was like, oh, you're just going to be a starving artist. And that like was very discouraging to hear because that was really the only person that I had that I would just be vulnerable with, you know, at that time. You know, like it was just me and her in the household. So to receive that response, I was just like, all right, well, yeah, let me just go and draw on this binder and I'll figure out the rest later, you know?
Yeah.
um, but I feel like that was something that was supposed to deter me and either, you know, well, I would say deter me if I were not serious about the decision, but also motivate me if I was. Like, I gotta prove you wrong. You know, like
Yeah.
if this is something that I truly want to do, and I'm like, I express that to someone, and they're like, "Oh, you know, well, good luck with that," or you know, it's not the most supportive response. Yeah, I'm more than likely gonna be okay. Let's get it. Let's go. You know, like the shirt says, "Fight or die." You know,
Yeah.
like let's make it happen. Let's prove them wrong some type of way, and then also prove myself right. You know, prove that not only did I want to do it, but I was capable of doing it. Or even if I fall short, it's like, all right, well, I know what it's like, you know, and
Yeah.
I know that if I try it again, you know, try to be successful at it again, I'm gonna have to do some things different, you know, start a whole nother journey. Um, I guess I'm very driven in that aspect. Uh, a lot of talk that is supposed to deter me actually kind of riles me up and kind of gets me going a little bit. You know, I don't like to be told
So,
that I can't do anything.
and like, how do you keep that? I mean, how do you keep that when someone tells you what you're not supposed to do? That drives you because most people, including myself, I've found myself guilty of that at some point in my life. Someone
Yeah,
tell me, well, you know, they would say, well, maybe you shouldn't do this here, or maybe you shouldn't do this here. And I would find myself not doing it because, you know, if it was a parent or something like that. And one thing I did learn over life, and I was like 38 when I learned this here. Morals and all of those type of things are normally the people who raise us. Those morals most times are fear in disguise. So they are placing their fears on us and telling us that we shouldn't do it because they
yeah,
failed at it. And that may
yes.
not be our story. But so how did you like keep that drive that it motivated you instead of discouraging you?
Well, that goes back to I guess origination story altogether. I lost my mom at the age of 5 due to cancer. My dad was absent in my raising. Um, so there was a lot of I guess you could say a lot of legends that I had to be told about my parents. You know, I really didn't get a chance to experience them growing up, if that makes any sense. So everything that I ever knew about them was told to me. So just listening to the stories both good and bad.
Yeah.
I kind of structured for myself the type of son that I wanted to be, which later transformed or turned into the type of person. Um, just to be honest, when it comes to the point of keeping the energy, that is tough. It is tough. I'm not going to ever sit here in front of anybody's camera and tell them that I don't get exhausted. I was exhausted today. Like I was afraid that I was possibly sick, like it's just so much energy mentally, spiritually, and then of course physically when especially when you're doing high volume work, it takes a toll. That's why self-care, self-love, just being very strict on the boundaries of like, hey, I'm taking today to do this, like I'm gonna
Yeah.
focus on myself to get myself together, even if it is binging something on Netflix. If that's what helps you recalibrate your levels, so be it. I think it's very important to remember that we our energy sources ourselves, and every energy source must recharge. Even with crystals, I don't know if you're like into like the crystals and the vibrations and everything, but you have to recharge them. Like they'll give up a vibration, and they'll be a whole vibe for you until a certain point. You have to recharge them. You have to clean them. You have to refresh them. Sit them out in the moon, like in the full moon. Let them absorb lunar light, maybe UV light. Put them out in the sunshine. It's different ones for different things, but everything needs something in order to recharge and keep its natural vibrations, keep its natural place, natural position throughout the life in the universe. So
Yeah. And one of my biggest thing, and actually one of the quotes that we here at the podcast has adopted is be your own vibe. Just whatever that is, create your own vibe, be it.
mhm,
But you just said something so important. We are all energy sources. So you have to
yes,
recharge. And that's why
yes.
self-care is so important. And that's just sometimes just mean unplugging from everybody and everything and just be in silence, even if it's 15 minutes, you just be quiet and make your world quiet.
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's
So
amazing sometimes, just to have that peace, and like you said, that quiet. And you'll be amazed at what comes in. A lot of people run from the silence because they
yeah.
have to deal with themselves. But you need yourself in order to do anything in this life. So take care of it. Yeah, most definitely.
So we got a couple of questions for you already, man.
Oh, hey, I like that.
So
Let's go. Let's get some answers.
the first question is what celebrity photo shoot was your best experience?
My best experience was most definitely Tammy Mitchell. Her spirit, she was so down to earth. Um, from the moment that like she got out the ride and was stepping into the studio, it felt like I was greeting a homegirl, somebody that I had went to school with and had been
Wow.
knowing all this time. And literally, I would say seconds before, like before I even opened the door, I was nervous. I mean, it's a celebrity. Like, who wouldn't be nervous, right? Everybody's nervous around celebrities to some degree, and I was definitely at my point. I was definitely nervous, but disarmed everybody in the room, and great conversation, great energy throughout the shoot. I loved it. That would definitely be my top celebrity experience. Um, But I have another one that's probably like ongoing that I feel like will overall beat it.
Come on, share it with us, man. We want to know. We want to know.
I mean, it's just she's not as big as Tammy, but she's big to me. Like her name is Persuasion. She was on Bad Girls Club, and she also was on Batty South, which I believe the finale for that for season 2, which is what she's on, was aired yesterday. And then they
Okay.
have a reunion coming. But you know, she's been on television a couple of times. She's well known in the urban market, I guess you could say, as a model and a video girl, and also as a bad girl. But just to know her, just one on one in person, she's a very cool individual. Like we just had a photo shoot yesterday, and it didn't feel like work, you know, like at all. It
Wow.
didn't feel like work. It was just a good time overall, and that's something that I don't like try to force with celebrities or just any of my clients, but I always look forward to. I always look forward to connecting with who it is that I'm working with, celebrity or not. You know, it's you want to connect with them. You want to have a good time because, you know, no one wants to be like in this building with this random long-haired black man for you know like, for like an hour or more, and it just be awkward the entire time. You know, like I wouldn't want it, like because I mean, I'm actually an introvert myself, so I definitely just want things to be smooth
Yeah.
and the vibe to be right. So the fact that like every time that I'm interacting with her, working with her, it is a chill moment. It's like time hadn't even passed between, you know, then and now. It's a true friend. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. So let me ask you this here. So, because I am big on divine connections. So I'm very big on divine connections. I take no connection for granted. So
I
when I
know that's
meet
good.
somebody new, I treat them like I've known them forever. I treat them
Mhm.
with kindness, grace, and respect because you never know when that person is holding a blessing for you, either
As
then
well.
or in the future. So how did you connect with these people? Like, I mean, did you like put a bid out to, photograph these people, or did a friend hook you up with them? How did you find out or get connected with them?
The majority of them actually were through business relationships. So I would have a client who would be using the celebrity as an ambassador for their brand. They will bring me in to shoot, and we'll, you know, of course, we'll shoot the campaign for whatever the sale may have been or whatever the agreements were for that ambassadorship. Um, I also was a director of photography for a men's magazine that was located here in Dallas, Texas. And that was that was probably like the best time that I ever had throughout my career, to where it was uh, it was a given that I would be working with a celebrity to some extent. Um, just look, you see the mirror moving in the back and everything. That's my lady there. Like,
Like, there's some spirits over there in that
yeah,
house. No, I'm just
yeah, yeah.
playing.
It's like I'm hearing it. It's like I'm seeing the door open, like at the corner of my eye. But yeah, so I guess she needed the mirror. But yeah, it was almost like a given that I would be working with celebrities. I mean, we were a men's magazine and we were syndicated nationally. So with that type of platform, you want to put familiar names on your cover. But I've been blessed to never had to been the one to reach out and be like, hey, I want to work with you.
Yeah.
But persuasion most definitely was one, simply because the, the photographer who was shooting her initially is actually a good friend of mine. and he's been on and off of hiatus for some time. And I saw where she had made a post saying that she was needing a photographer. So I just threw my name in the hat, and come to find out that she actually had been wanting to work with me. So, you know, put two and two together, you get four. And
Yeah.
and it was basically just history after that. So it was nothing for us to get together to work, but once we got together, once again that connection, it hit, and it's just been true ever since. Not every time it happens like that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So we got another question for you.
Okay.
What's the hardest thing to do in photography?
Ooh. uh afford it. And then, like all jokes aside, though, I think the hardest thing to do in photography when it comes to just in general, it doesn't matter if you'll be a female or a male, is to network but still establish your value. Um, we are in a very media driven society,
Yeah.
especially on the internet. So photos and videos, they come and go like the wind. And it didn't always used to be like that. It used to be something where like just the image itself would hold a lot of financial weight if it was the right picture. And I do believe that that is something that is still in existence within society, within the industry of photography. But the rules are much harder because there's way more entries into the game for that photo. Like that
Yeah.
one photo that's really just going to capture someone's eye and remain in their memory for a year, like a year from now, 2 years from now.
Because
That's
everybody's a
where
photographer now. You got your phone now. You're a photographer. You catch the right
You
picture.
know, exactly. And don't get me wrong, like I love iPhone photography. I'm already drooling over the 14 because of the camera itself.
It's on
But
the way, buddy. It's could be
yes,
here this week. Yeah, it's on the way.
yes, but the reality is, anybody can take a picture at this point. I try to tell other photographers, anybody can take a picture, but how many people can take a photograph? How many people who
Mm,
can actually provide you an image that you can issue to someone and they can use it for their brand to promote it beyond a month of sales and promotion. Beyond that time period, is this image that you're giving the client, is it something that they can actually use on their website for full 4 seasons, for a whole year,
yeah.
regardless of what type of company they are. So it takes a lot of strategy, and I think that's where my graphic design experience kind of comes into play and gives me that little bit of edge. But ultimately, you just don't want to. You don't want to be devalued. You don't want to
Mm,
be devalued when it comes to building your brand and letting people know who you are. That's the hardest part because you'll meet someone new. Maybe it could be at a business mixer, just out in public, DM on Instagram or whatever. And then, oh, I love your work. Everybody's going to say it. Oh, I love your work. But there's going to be a number of those people who say that and they actually book you. And there's going to be a
right.
number of people who say that and they're going to be like, oh, well, hey, I really want to work with you. And what ideas do you have for me? Like
Yeah.
I, I, when did I become, when did I come to the point where I'm now in servitude to you? That starts to ring off in the head, you start to ask yourself those questions, and then there's like a little bit of bitterness that is kind of like held.
Yeah.
So that it makes it hard. It becomes a struggle between you yourself as an artist, and then also those around you who you're trying to figure out who you want to have in your circle, who you want to possibly bring in as a model or a stylist, or just anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I
Wow.
mean, you brought up something really good because we do live in such a media-driven world. And to be honest with you, man, I have much respect for you because I would not want to have your job. And the reason I say that is because we do live in such a media-driven world, and a picture these days is everything to some people because we've all heard that. So I mean, that's quote, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Now it's worth 1,000,000 because everything lifestyle on Instagram is driven by pictures.
Yes.
Lifestyle on Facebook is driven by pictures. So when
Yes.
these people are taking these pictures, they're trying to tell a story. They're trying to portray a lifestyle. And so my question for you is, like, when you have a client come in, because the one of the reasons we chose Dope Dudes Capture Beauty is because that is the number one demand, whether it's a man or woman. We want the photographer to either make us look beautiful or to make our lifestyle look
Look.
beautiful. So, as a photographer, do you feel pressure to like give your clients? Can you pick up when your client maybe not feeling good about themselves, but they want you to make them look beautiful? Or have you even had a client that looked at their picture and they like, damn, that's me? You know, they catfish themselves.
Yeah. I most definitely have. I most definitely have. I've had a lot of women come to me, primarily, and they just tell me, um, very directly, very, very vulnerably, that they haven't seen themselves to be sexy or beautiful in X and X amount of time, um, and they just want to, you know. So it was like, I want to book with you because this, I can tell that this is what you do, and it does apply a lot of pressure because
Mhm.
everybody's different, and we all view beauty differently. Uh, I feel like I get by easy a lot of times. Like my preference of beauty, I feel like, is general. Like, um, I just feel like I'm taxed with showing my clients or my subjects what it is that I'm seeing for the end result when it comes to the image. Um, So when the goal is, hey, I want to take some beautiful photos, and I want to, I want this, and I want to feel this way. Like people, like, oh my gosh, they will get very specific with how they want to feel. And you're like, it's like, man, I just got a camera, like I just, I just got a camera. Once I hit the shutter, it's like how you look is how you look, but through lighting, knowing angles, and gaining the trust of your subject, just the little bit of trust for them to be like, okay, if you want me to turn my shoulder this way, I'm gonna turn my shoulder, like,
Yeah.
and just to get that level of trust from them, take a shot, get them in the pose, take a shot, and then show them that image. And then, when they like, wow, like, that makes me feel good. I'm like, all right, there's a short moment. You probably would see it in some of my behind the scenes, like on my story on Instagram. But there's
Yeah.
short moments where like the client would be like, oh my God. And I'll walk away and I'm like, You know,
Oh,
it's that slight moment of celebration, and I'm just like, all right, cool, we on the right track. Let's take some more, like so it is a lot of pressure, but I've definitely been blessed to execute. I would say 95% of the time. I really haven't gotten too many complaints about my final oil, but I feel like as a photographer, I'm I'm basic, like I can tell you,
dude, come on, man.
I'm all right,
Whatever.
like,
Because, dude, I came across those blue pictures that you took, the blue background with the neon colors. I
oh
was
man,
like
with the UV
blown.
light,
Yes, I was blown away, man. Dude, you're
I
far
appreciate
from
that.
average. Like, don't downplay yourself.
I appreciate that, man. Like that was fun. That photo shoot, I think I took over 1,000 frames
Oh,
because
wow.
I
Wow.
wasn't restricted by studio light, believe it or not. I shot the model on an all white background, and I just had two big black lights on her. Uh, Her hair, nail polish, lipstick, and the outfit were all, they reflected UV light. She had a special nail polish, special makeup on. So it just made my job easy. And I just needed her to pose, which she did that
Yeah, she
easily.
killed
Like,
it.
yeah, she killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, she
And
killed
that
it.
was her very first shoot with
I
me.
was like, oh my God. Because I've never seen anything like that before. So, dude, that was
It was a
unbelievable.
challenge, and once again I appreciate it. It was a big challenge because I didn't feel like it was, but she told me that she had reached out to several other photographers before for that very same concept, and there were like nobody really wanted to pick it up. And I was like, "Oh yeah, let's get it!" Like I already had the lights on the way when she had like reached out to me about it. So, because my girlfriend does cosplay, and she was like, she ordered the lights herself to try to, get some background work with lighting and everything going for on her end with her content. So they were on the way. Um,
See, that's why everybody need a counselor in their back pocket.
That is
That's why
why,
you need a
though.
counselor right there. You
That
need
is
that counselor.
definitely why. Because when I tell you that literally, she's my little secret. Like she's my secret weapon. And I tell everybody that like her name on Instagram is Alex Little Secret. Like that is
Oh, wow.
like literally like she is my secret weapon. Full cancer, like that's my baby, man.
So we,
Like,
we got some more questions here for you, man.
okay.
So,
All
so
right.
here we go. I know you say you don't regret your decision in going from graphic design to becoming a photographer. When did you know you made the right decision?
Oh, very good question. I had come to a point to where I wasn't concerned, or my thoughts on what I need to do for the month creatively and to bring in more bookings. I didn't have a single piece of graphic design on my table. I think my most recent design at that point had been 3 years old and it was unfinished, which is unlike me. I was the type of artist that would create multiple pieces in Photoshop. When it comes to graphic design, I'll make multiple pieces daily. Um, it was it was literally like playing a video game, like you do a couple rounds on Call of Duty and it's like, all right, you're on decompress for the day. That's how graphic design was for me. It's my decompression for the day. I would crank out piece after piece after piece, all different. And it was like people will wonder if I was insane sometimes. But when I realized that that wasn't driving me anymore, I was spending my time happily in Photoshop and in Lightroom and trying to figure out, the settings in my camera and making sure that my camera was on me at all times. That's when I realized, like, oh, this is love. Like
Yeah.
this is love. This is a passion that I hadn't experienced before because graphic design had been with me. Ooh, I was 12 years old when I got my first computer, and it had Paint Shop Pro on it. So that's
Oh,
when it
wow.
started. Yeah. So I started in Paint Shop Pro and transitioned over to Adobe Photoshop like a couple of years after that. So yeah. Yeah. It was just a moment that I just kind of like looked up and I realized I was not even thinking about in graphic design. It was the transition had been complete. I was full on photography and I had no shame about saying that it was my passion.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we got another one for you on fire, man. Are there different are there different seasons or months where you're busy or not?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Will Smith made us all just like love summertime, but the kids are out of school and and because of that, I feel like it contributes to the slowest season that I experience on a regular. So it's like, well, I'm excited for summer though, every season because that's the time frame that I feel like I have to kind of like flex my own creativity, build my content, and then, I have to struggle for a little bit. Just got to be a little smart and strategic on that. But once the summer is over, I'm coming out with content that I can use for fall, winter, spring, and woo, Lord, let's go ahead and get ready for this summer next year.
So when
But
a
that,
client come to you, do they need to already have their concept of what they want to do, or do you like offer advice on that?
I do offer advice, but only to a limited scale. And because it's advice, it's kind of hard to explain what that scale is, but ultimately, if it starts to get too in depth, then I have to introduce my creative direction fee, which would, of course, I'm being paid to do the service, but I'm also taking over way more control than just providing advice. You know, it's truly a service. So now I'm going in, I'm like, all right, I'm figuring out what it is that you want. If there are any ideas that you may have in mind, I'm taking that and I'm weighing it out, sending it through my creative washer, and we're gonna uh, basically start a lot of back and forth when it comes to me trying to get you to see my vision for you, if that makes any sense. Like the retelling of your vision toward, your vision for your shoot with me. I'm gonna try to retell it under creative direction and make it a little bit more my style, but the main idea of it all is to make it about you because it's still your photo shoot.
Yeah.
So I always try to keep that in mind. But any other time, yeah, it's always just advice. I'll toss this out, or uh, sometimes people don't really want to do a lot of the same things as other people. But like I was like, oh, when I look on your page and I see a lot of people do this and do that and do this, and I was like, sometimes I'll just toss it out there. It's like, well, why don't you try this? Like I see you doing something like this, and if I'm shooting it and I'm going to edit, just trust me, I'll help you execute it. That's not a problem because I do coaching during the session. And sometimes it flows, sometimes it doesn't, like, you know, preference always takes over with that, So it's not a big deal if they want to, like, you're like, you know what? I asked for help, but never mind. I got it. It's like, all right, cool.
Let's see how that work out for you. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. So we got one final question for you, and they asked, what's your biggest inspiration?
Ooh. That is actually a deep question because I'm a student of creativity, and that's going to be forever. Um, I don't, regardless of how many people consider me a master, thank you, but there's no way that I can be a master when there's more to be, more to learn. And the industry is always growing and evolving. So I think honestly and truly, my inspiration is actually the one thing that I probably get praised for a lot, which is being creative, creativity in itself. I love to see creativity from other people. And um, my lady calls me the king of ratchivity because I can go to the hood and see like the most creative things ever. It's like this beauty that is overlooked a lot. And I draw inspiration from that. It's
Yeah.
just creativity in itself. So, you know, I'll watch a movie, anime, listen to music, other people's art, photography, videos, movies, literally media, period. I'm always absorbing it. It's being shoved down our faces anyway. So it's like I'm
Yeah.
absorbing it and I'm just trying to pull out the best bits of everything for myself. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it's literally everything is my inspiration. It's life.
Wow. So, guys, I'm going to tell you guys, and this is real talk. So, go out to Alex's website. This brother has some of the best pricing you will find. And this is no
Oh,
joke. Like, some of
I've
the
heard
best
that
pricing.
before. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Dude, you have like some of the best prices. Yeah, I've gotten quotes from some photographers and I'd be like, are you freaking kidding me? So this brother has amazing prices, services, and when you see his work, so you know that his work is, you know, above notch. So definitely go out to his website, check him out there, and then follow Alex. He's on Facebook, Alex Hudson. He's there on IG, Alex J. And what does the J stand for?
It actually stands for Jarrell.
Okay, Alex
Yeah.
Jarrell.
Yeah.
So, so Alex J. Hudson, find that brother on Alex J. Hudson photo on Instagram and on
Yes.
TikTok. You can see a little bit of his footage from his photoshops, and it's so funny. And so because today on the video that I posted with your different ones, I had the whole Beyonce thing going. So
Yeah.
because you had that on that actual footage, so that's where I got the song from.
Yeah.
So
I was
like,
like, yo, like that was like spot on because
yeah. So do you like play songs then pump them up for the shoot?
I actually do though. Like I have a whole photo shoot playlist and um I haven't received any complaints about. When I tell you I'm blessed, I'm spoiled. I am spoiled, man. Like everybody who has ever like supported me and everything, they spoiled me. I haven't received any complaints about it, but I have to shoot some music. So that's probably like my only handicap. Like if I do a photo shoot and there's no music, I'm cranky. I'm like, like where's the music?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to catch
Wow.
the vibe. Where's the music? So I'm I have a whole list, and sometimes when I'm shooting, and like a song will come on, I'm like, oh, yo, this would be dope for real. Let me add this to this other list here, my video list real quick, and I'm gonna come back to this when I get to the house. You know, like my mind
Nice.
is always going. Always.
Nice. So check this brother out. He's on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Follow him. Go to his website. Book him. Book this guy.
Looking
You can. It's
clean.
easy. I did it today myself. So it's easy to go out there and book him and select the time. It's all out there. So go do that. Support this guy. Tell everybody about him. You know, tell your friends to stop letting their cousins photo shoot them with their iPhone 6. You know, yeah, just go ahead and invest the money in it. You know, if
Just
you're
go
gonna
ahead and invest. Go
put
ahead
that
and invest.
lifestyle on IG, be about that lifestyle. So, Alex, before we
Really.
bounce out, man, what is something you want to leave the people with to remember you by? You know,
Oh man, my motto. It's been the same for years, but I told myself this, so I tell everybody this, but be great, be you. It's point blank simple. You know, just that's the only way you can be great is if you be yourself. And the only way you can be yourself is if you be great at being you. You know, so it's a cycle. No matter which way you want to approach it, be
nice,
great.
nice, nice. And one of my takeaways from some you said earlier too, that, and I definitely be great, be you. That is something very powerful, but also, you know, it can either discourage you or motivate you. You are in control of that. Whether something someone says to you, you can allow it to discourage you, or you can allow it to motivate you to make it happen. So that was a powerful word, man. And that is definitely something I am going to take away from this podcast tonight. And Alex, dude, oh yeah, don't forget to follow the Dope Ass Dude podcast on IG and TikTok. And hey, we will see you next Monday. We have a great guy. His name is Charlie Allen. He's going to be the guest on the podcast. This brother is doing his thing, and he is 60 years old. And when I tell you, this guy is like, you can't tell it. So I'm excited about you guys seeing him next Monday, 7 o'clock. Look forward to seeing you guys then. I then peace.
Peace.